welcome to the Searcher Education Summit 2022 for United Graduate College and Seminary International. This is a historical day, as one of our professors just put it. My name is Professor Michael Pitzel, and I am honored to have honored guest, His Royal Highness King Okujiaman Kobina Omesa I, who is also Chief Chancellor of United Graduate College and Seminary International. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
This is a historical day. If you've been following us, you know a little bit about what we've been working on for over a decade. We are promoting God's education system, and we call it searcherdemics. The searchers are the ones that go out and have a new idea from God. They believe in it. They may have missed the traditional education system and what they are doing, but they are walking their God ideas out, and they have evidence and results to prove it. And we've been working on validating God ideas for over a decade now. And His Royal Highness was just on the continent of Africa for a month, and we started working back there for, well, he's been working there for at least 20 years. And we've been bringing online education and God's education system to the continent of Africa for years and years. And could you just share a little update on how things are going over there in Africa with this idea of God's education system?
Absolutely. And you know, let me tell you, just give me a couple minutes and I'm going to paint a picture. COVID changed traditional systems. Every traditional system is shaking in its boots right now, saying, what are we going to do to bring things back? That normalcy is no longer there, and it doesn't exist anymore. So this is every country I went to, they said, Dr. Rivers, we need innovation. Listen to me, searcherdemics. It is a philosophy that was created over a decade ago to where God's ideas are valid. And this is, and as I spoke at a college in Ghana, they asked me to encourage the kids. And I said, everything starts with an idea and not money. When God gives you an idea, he has the funding to fulfill everything he put in you. So this is where searcher education, and our Chancellor, I thank you for having the innovative idea and create this philosophy that makes the God idea valid. So it's amazing, as I said, with educators around the world now, they're saying what's valid. So now they're having to actually look at innovation that actually doesn't have 20 years of research. They got to say, this is working right now. Let's go with it, because we're in a paradigm we've never been in. Searcherdemics is tailor-made for this actual paradigm. So as I was in Burundi, Africa, at actually Mallari University, I actually honored a gentleman with an honorary doctorate as a searcher. This man was not a doctor, but he created an institution that's graduated 50,000 students. So just catch the equation. Students are graduating with degrees. The one that created the concept that they're living in doesn't have a doctorate degree. And they were like, Dr. Rivers, we get it. We get it now. The idea is valid. Well, us as an institution, we were one of the first institutions on the continent of Africa that accepted the God idea as valid. And what does that come with? If any of you understand the power of being a pioneer, it means the institution is not going to agree with you. And they didn't agree with us in Kenya a decade ago. And they smeared our name all over the place. But here, this 10 years later, they were fighting online education from us. 10 years later, they had to go to online education. So as I was there this time, someone called me the father of online education that was a decade early. So if I can encourage you in this, this August, we'll be in Burundi, because the vice chancellor of the institution I was at said, Dr. Rivers, we have East Africa community educators are coming to our university as we talk about our actual plans and strategies for the years to come. And after I explained searcherdemics, he says, could you bring a team of people in that can explain to East African education institution the importance, how the actual innovative kids are being missed. And the innovative kids are the ones that will build the philosophies that these institutions live on for decades to come.
Wow.
Searcherdemics was on time. It seemed like it was out of place, but it's in time. And I was able to talk about Dr. Chris Green and what he's done and how he's walked a philosophy he created, and he walked it into institutions in the USA. And then Dr. Rose Reddy that took an idea to empower kids with peace and civility. And now she's walked her idea into existence and is functioning. And they said, we can't deny the evidence and results of what this has created. And I said, look, I said, if your institutions are going to go any further and live, guess what it has to have? It has to, you have to make room for innovation. If you don't, you will bury your institution, because how long are people going to go to school, get a degree, and not be able to find work with what you've taught them? So we're excited. This continent's asking for us at the right time. So again, Chancellor, I'm excited. Ghana, there's 3 schools in Ghana that we're going to be actually working with, bringing this model. And this model is not possible if it weren't for each of you. And our Chancellor, thank you so much for creating this amazing concept.
Oh my goodness, it is an honor. And
I can't hear you.
Truly, is an honor. And
I can't hear you.
Okay, can anybody else hear me? Can everybody else hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. I can't hear you guys, but it's okay.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep talking until somebody else tells me they can't hear me. It's really important what His Royal Highness is saying about being, this goes beyond theory. And that is why we're doing what we are doing today, is everyone out there.
I'll go out and come back in because I can't hear.
Okay. Can anybody else hear me? Okay, perfect. I'm going to keep talking. What His Royal Highness said is so important, and why we're here today, and that you need to meet the people behind this, because they are the evidence and results of what we are talking about. This is not just a theory. Searcherdemics is not a theory. It's action. It's action. And faith comes by action. And all of these people have had an idea from God, and they're acting upon it on the earth, and they have evidence and results. It cannot be a searcherdemic philosophy if they haven't acted upon it, and if they cannot have the evidence and results. So what His Royal Highness was saying is so important, and what we're doing today is so important, and what we need to bring to Africa are the evidence and results. And so we're here today to introduce you to some new searcher professors on the roster, and very excited. We're going to start with Professor Alan Mallari from Las Vegas, Nevada.
My goodness, let me introduce Professor Allen. This man has probably one of the greatest insights into the kingdom of God that I've heard recently. He's just published a book. He just published a book. He's probably one of the genius minds that this world needs to hear in this day and hour. And when we get into his work that he's doing, it's the most phenomenal work needed in the world today. And I want to share one thing that I discovered. I met Professor Allen and Chancellor Michael on this trip. I discovered one thing, that people are not taught capacity on how to do it. So you have great orators that are speaking great philosophies, but the people on the ground don't know how. So what it does, it keeps everything sounding good, but actually life is lived backwards, because the people supposed to have the information don't have the information. So, and this is where Professor Alan Mallari, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this man you're going to be so blessed by what he's created. So so the Chancellor Michael, I won't go. I can talk about Alan for 2 hours straight.
That's
So
true.
go ahead, Chancellor Michael.
He is a how-to person, and he's going to share some of that. But first, Professor Allen, I want to know from your perspective, why is this searcher-demic model of education in general so necessary for this time period?
You know, if you think about this, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and many that are thinkers and billionaires didn't get into complete college education in the institution, but they had their own narrative. They searched their own ideas and implemented it. The world institution needed to change the way they teach kids. They have to cultivate and they innovate what they have are passionate and nurture the idea. This model allows an individual to expand their vision and share it to the world with the evidence and result validated by God.
Wow. So tell us about heart literacy, because this is a narrative that you are really introducing into the world, and it's so new and fresh. Can you give us a little background on that?
First of all, very, very plain and simple. When you question yourself, where is your heart? That's the first thing. When you say proficiency, heart literacy, you have to ask yourself first, where is your heart? Your spiritual heart. Once you answer that question, you are open into what we call the subconscious mind and the conscious mind of thinking. And everything starts from the heart. That is why I teach everybody that we need to start the level of education from the heart.
Wow.
So
Go ahead, Chancellor.
Share some of the practical things. That's your philosophy. Now, to be searcher-demic, you can't just have your philosophy, right? You have to be doing something. So how are you practically moving your philosophy of precision heart literacy?
Yeah. Proficiency heart literacy should be the foundation of every individual around the world. It should be the first level of education we should learn, the heart. Thoughts are things. Guard your heart. All the issues of life flows from it. If an individual guards their heart, you will always have a different perspective and effective in society. That is why you have to learn how to do and how to protect the heart from the very first learning of stages of life.
Wow. If you don't mind, tell us about this amazing school that you've created that puts the practicality to your philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah. I created the schooloflifestyle.com, which provides teachings and methods on how to, and short videos of clips on how to approach life. That's the bottom line. So that's
Can you give us a quick example of one of the teachings? Can you give us just a quick example of one of the teachings you do? So, because I want the people to understand Professor Mallari is a #1 philosopher creator for the globe.
Right. Let's say, for example, you are a prison of your mind. If you are a prison of your mind, you are subjected to the world, whereby people tells you what to do, and your habits, daily habits or bad habits, are embedded in you. And how you can be released from prison is how to reject those negative thoughts in your mind. So you have to elevate your process of thinking into a different perspective.
Very good.
Wow.
Man, go ahead, Chancellor.
He gives helpful tips on these videos. And what I love about his education system is they're quick, short, doable. You know, in this age, in this generation, they want information quick, right? And so it captures their imagination. But then you also give like how-to tips at the end, which is important because you can give all the information you want, but if people don't have something to walk away with to try on their own, it's no good.
Right.
And you know what? Please let me encourage every professor, everyone that watches this. #1 is what you are, because no one has created the paradigm you have.
Yes.
As I was traveling through Africa, I saw great people that don't know that they're #1. And this is what searcher-demics, we only create #1 mindsets, because really the education God put in you is for others. And this is where Professor Allen, how do you see this search-demic education model? How do you see it impacting the world one day?
In everyday life, we breathe, we live, and we strive and thrive, right? So all this starts from the heart. Even the words we speak. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. We communicate to each other every day. But if you have to learn how to speak appropriately, how would you be able to convey your message? First thing is we need to learn how to study our hearts, not emotions, but thoughts, because thoughts are things.
Wow.
Wow. Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear what Professor Mallari just put out there?
Wow.
Man, say that again. Say that again, Professor.
Yeah. We have to study the heart, because the very important thing is once we communicate with people, we know that out of the abundance of the heart, because thoughts are things. So we need to learn how to manage and maintain our thoughts. And how do we do that? By having to study the heart.
My goodness.
Wow.
Dr. Michael, Chancellor, you have anything else to ask this man?
Well, if let's say people get this education, what kind of a future will this create?
Yes.
In our world?
Yes. Everyone starts from somewhere. Before you create your future, you have to start from somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. That somewhere needs to start from the source, which is the heart. The heart is right. Create your future right. Then it will be bright. So if you have your heart right, you have your future right, then your everything is bright.
Wow.
Professor, thank you so much for being a pioneer leader of a new thought. And you know what you're doing, you're helping people build capacity. And as I travel through the world, the one thing that lacks is what you're bringing. Thank you for being a professional, for being an expert, for being the founder of a new philosophy. And you own it well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you. Wow. Zaz is one of our professors, and he's out there moving it and making it work.
Goodness.
And up next we have Professor Sam Ebube from Nigeria. And welcome, Sam.
Wow.
His philosophy is called Youth Matrix. And I'm going to let Professor Sam share about what is Youth Matrix.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored. First and foremost, Youth Matrix is a new paradigm, is a new culture of leadership and life skills education model that is to empower the young people, the young adolescents, and the emerging and aspiring leaders all across the world.
So, why is Youth Matrix? Why is it important? Because looking at the education models of the world today, our traditional institutions, we forgot about the youth. We have not factored the youth into education at all at the college level, as far as having people trained on how to work with the youth. So give me some of your thoughts on that, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Your Royal Highness. First and foremost, let's take a look at the statistics of the youth all across the world. Now, when you look at the statistics, we have over 2.1 billion youth all across the world. So out of the 6.9 billions that we have the young people, the young adolescents and the youth together. They are 2.18 billion. Now, when you look at the number, the statistics that we have with us, we realize that we are the emerging leaders of tomorrow. And like the Royal Highness said, we are the now leaders. So if we must start leading today, if we must start leading now, what are the essentials? What are the skills? What are the life skills? What are those leadership trails that will help us to take up the mantles of leadership today? And that is why it's so imperative that we collectively bring all our practices, our tools together to help and equip the young adolescents and the youth to take over the mantle of leadership all across the world. And I must say this, let me add this to this point. Now, when we look at what is happening all across the world, we will see that the established leaders has failed us in Africa. And if we must change the narrative, we need to upskill and reskill our mindset. We need to reprogram our mindset to a new philosophy that will help us to change the whole system from how it's been done and to what we think should be done to help make the world a better place for all.
Wow. So your philosophy is centered around youth, and you're teaching youth leadership skills
And life skills.
Life skills. What are some of the practical things that you've already done with these two things?
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so honored to speak with the youth of Ebube Institute of Technology in Ghana under the leadership of His Royal Highness and Professor Michael Kipps-Rudder. Now, I was able to speak with the young people, and Professor Michael will bear witness that some of those things that was actually discussed at the school happens to be what is really affecting the young people, and the young people seems not to know who to speak to. So we are the voice for the voiceless in our generation. So for me, I believe so well that there is so much that has been put in place right now that is helping the young people. I've been able to offer free books titled "Stay Alive." It's a new educational model to provide life skills from people's stories, because I've come to realize that this generation relates with stories a lot. If you tell the young people, do it this way, they want to see reason. They want to see if you've been there. If you've been there, then they know that they also can achieve it. So it's providing the tools that will help them now and the generations to come. So I've been able to provide a Stay Alive book series. The one I'm working on right now is tagged Not Alone. And I have youth all across the world contributing their life skills, contributing their stories of how they've been able to maneuver tough times. And this will help the young people to prepare for what is coming ahead.
Wow. Well, and some at that institute, your actual, the evidence and results of your life impacted those kids. Could you explain how what they saw out of your life inspired them?
Wow, thank you so much, Your Highness. I believe that every emerging leaders and every aspiring leader should be the new inspiration that every young people should draw from. So I see myself as an inspiration to the young people, and collectively with His Royal Highness and Professor Michael and every other professor, we will ensure that we equip the young people with the model that will help them to be a better version. And thank God for such academics that is putting to the young people how they can be number one in their field.
So I want to be a bit more specific. Your YPN, as you were there, they were able to actually see a person doing something that they want to do. So in other words, the evidence and results of your life, as you were talking, they saw searcherdemics because of what you've created. That's what I want you to explain to the people, so they understand the evidence and results of your life inspired them.
Yeah, thank you, your Royal Highness. Thank you so much. I want to say to everyone that is watching right now that I've been able to create not just a book, but I've been able to create together. I've been able to create a leadership book also that is coming up pretty soon. It comprises of over 60 world-renowned leaders. Why? Because I believe that every story matters. And my journey of leadership is quite different from your leadership journey. And I realized that someone from Africa, someone from West Africa can actually relate with my leadership skills. And I've also noticed that someone that is coming from the United States of America will also have a different philosophy, a different approach to leadership. So have been able to collectively put this together to empower the young people all across the world. And not just only that, right now, I've been able to see how best we can push this academic studies to the youth, to different institutions all across the world, not just only Nigeria, not just Africa, but all the continent of the world. So we're shifting this educational model to individuals, and I've realized that in our generation, we have three most powerful tools that I am going to use collectively with other professors to educate the young people. I realize that 89% of young people are on the internet. That is the power of media. So I want to use the power of media to build a strong capacity in the mind of the young people. And I also use what we call mentorship. Where I am today is a product of mentorship. I started Youth Publish Now and media under the leadership of His Royal Highness. I was in Ghana, and a question was thrown at me. And the question was that, why is it that most Africans don't succeed when they have their God's-given idea? And I realized that in Africa, the people we share our thoughts and ideas with matters. And one thing I want to say is that one word from someone might either break you or make you. The word that came out of my mentor, in person of His Royal Highness, King Dr. Rivers, has been able to shape my life to help other people. Now, Youth Metrics and Youth Publish Now has helped people all across the world to live their God-driven purpose life. And I'm so happy and I'm so honored. Thank you, His Royal Highness, for not just only empowering me, but also pushing me beyond limits to also help other young people across the world. Thank you, sir.
Wow, Professor Som, I was with you when you spoke to those youth, and they were encouraged because you are a young man, and it's very rare for young people to be in a position of leadership as you are. And they got to see your evidence and results, and you were a tangible example to them, and they were excited, and they knew that what we were talking about was true because they saw you in this position. And that brings hope. And I know you're at the office today, and go off schedule a little bit and go ahead and do your appointment right now since we have you online. I am honored. We are honored today to announce that Professor Som Ebube is now the Vice Chancellor of Youth Studies for United Graduate College and Seminary International. And we are honored to have you. We are excited for youth studies to take off. I've seen you at work on the continent of Africa. I've seen you, and you bring hope. You have wisdom beyond your years, and we want to be a model that youth can lead. You have evidence and results. And I just want to say a few stats about Professor Som Ebube. He is the founder of Youth Matrix Institute, a winning culture of leadership and life skills education. He's a national statesman for Youth Matters and Unchanged Nations, an associate professor, searcher professor of UGCSI. He studied mechanical engineering at Ocean State College in Technology, USA. He's a consultant and training liaison and international expert at Global. And he is a musician, he's a publisher, and he's an author. And he is more than qualified for this honor to have him. Congratulations.
Thank you, Thank you, Vice Chancellor.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Wow. So this is just a little bit of what we're up to here at UGCSI with our Search Academics. I am proud to bring our next professor on, Professor Christy Iwuchukwu. She is from California, originally from Nigeria. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this great summit. I'm so excited.
Oh,
yeah. And Dr. Christy is probably one of the greatest that I know at helping people find what's in them and explain it. You know, it's amazing when I sit with people that have things and they can't explain it. And there's a mastery in helping people be able to like do that. And Dr. Christy is the head of the class in that. So we're honored to have you here, Dr. Christy.
Thank you.
And Dr. Christy is the founder and philosopher of Narrate Her Story. And that was her God idea that she has been living for most of her life, and she is bringing to others. So first of all, explain to us your philosophy, narrate her story. What is this philosophy?
Well, thank you for that question. You know, I teach women how to confidently communicate their message and narrate their own story. And I say their own story because if you allow someone else to write and narrate your own script, it may never come out the way that you have wanted it to come out.
Wow.
That's what I do.
And this is, if you don't mind me asking a question, you know, many continents of the world, women are not given that first class seat. And it is known, it's known all over the world that if a woman works the same position as a man, they get less skill, they get less pay. And we're in a day where I just believe your narrative will impact this world. And I want to ask you, how do you see your philosophy impacting the world?
You know, I appreciate that I have two different perspectives because, as you know, I was born and raised in Nigeria, West Africa, but I currently reside here in United States of America. And so I have perspective from that coming from Africa and perspective living here in the United States. And also my platform, Narrate Your Story TV, that I get to bring people from across the globe, allows me the opportunity to hear stories as they come on my platform. What I know for sure and what I have lived through is that women all over don't have the opportunity that other people have. And so you may be asking, what does that really do? Because I believe that if you miss the opinion, the opportunity is gone. The opinion of one person, we may not be able to get everything. Everything, wow. Right? Because it's all about, can you see me?
Wow.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? And that's what I believe that every human being is searching for. Validate me because what I have is important. If you never given me the opportunity to hear what I have to say, you may be missing out on a whole lot of things that may be vital for the society. And so what I love about the Search Academics is that it's practical and it's relevant. What am I saying? Because when I think of a woman in the village, that woman that had idea, she has an idea, but because maybe she's not educated, her idea is lost. Her idea is never brought to the mainstream. She's not given the opportunity to participate in the politics. She's not given the opportunity to mentor and coach and transfer her knowledge, her blessings to the women, to other young girls that are growing up in the society. Why? Because she's not supposed to, just because she's a woman.
Wow.
Right? And so for me, helping these women to be able to stand up, voice activate her so that she can speak up, so that other young people that are coming behind her will look at her and say, If she can do it, I can do it. Far too often, I think women have really, gone down to the extent that who's gonna want to hear me? What I have to say doesn't really matter. So why bother?
Wow.
It could be as a result of the culture. It could be a result of the society. But nevertheless, when you don't allow a woman to speak up, I think we lose as a society.
Wow. If you don't mind me interject, please, and Dr. Christy, I believe your philosophy will so far outlive you.
Yeah.
Because this is why one actual woman that understands this. Could you imagine when this hits the masses of women? I believe as a world, we lose out on the gifting of women all the time.
Yeah. Because
if you can't speak out, no one knows what's on the inside of you.
Absolutely.
And man, and again, your narrative, please don't get discouraged. And I want to challenge you on this. Don't be discouraged because the capacity of what you're doing may take 10 years to catch on. I did this with the culture of honor. It took 10 years. People, oh, do you want to honor me for all this? And after 10 years, it's caught on around the world. And I want to encourage you, never be discouraged if the women fight you, if the men fight you, because what you're doing is from God.
It is.
And you're empowering people. Over to you, Chancellor Michael.
Wow. You have blessed me today with what you've said. You've literally communicated the heart of Searcherdemics. Searcherdemics sees you. Searcherdemic hears you. Searcherdemics it validates you and that idea that is in you and who you are. We believe that you are unique. We believe that you are made special, a contribution to this earth, every single one. And that woman in the village who doesn't have that opportunity to get a traditional education or just a traditional means to get something does not mean she's not valuable. And we need to hear her story. And what you are doing is heroic. And we honor you for that. And we thank you, Dr. Christy, for what you're doing. We are excited to work with you so that we can hear her stories. Thank you.
And if I can ask you one more question. How do you see this impacting the world? How do you see your narrative? Give it 10 years. What does the world look like in 10 years if your philosophy is adopted?
10 years is too far. I think 10 years is too far. We're going to see the result in lesser years. Because I believe, here's what I'm saying. I was recently watching a program. And I didn't quite like what I see. But that's the world that we live in. That's the society that we live in. What was I watching? I was watching a young man that has been in class for 15 years, in the same class for 15 good years. Maybe it's for medical reason, for whatever reason, in the same class for 15 years now. People that were in the same class with this young man, some of them have become a doctor, become a teacher, become a professor, come back and teaching the same young man that they went to school with. What happens? Wouldn't that be amazing, incredible, if we would have allowed that young man, nurture that young man, find out what that young man is good at. Maybe he is not good at academics. Maybe there's something else. The blessing, everybody's blessing is not the same. Because I believe that your fingerprint is by design, not by choice.
Yes.
What if we give that young man an opportunity to nurture what's inside of him, bring out what's inside of him, find out what he's good at, and not relegate him to academics. So you ask, what do I see the future to be in what I do? I see the future where I think as a whole, as a family, as a community, as the world, that we're going to far get more benefit than we've already gotten. Why? Because when you allow everyone, when you allow the woman to contribute in the society, to voice out, I believe the world can only be a better place. What I'm talking about that person can be your mother, that person can be your sister, that person can be your daughter. When they have a voice, they can make a difference in our society. And oftentimes they die without ever expressing and blessing others with what they have.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Christy Iwuchukwu, you know why she's needed. Thank you so much. We love having you as part of our faculty and staff. The world needs you. Thank you, Dr. Christy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, I'm so excited right now.
Oh my goodness.
And there's more. We have
Oh my goodness.
Professor Alicia Kipps-Rudder from Trinidad and Tobago.
If I can't introduce this one yet, Dr. Alicia Kipps-Rudder is probably one of the brilliant minds of this world that really understands how to connect things. And I'm doing an underservice introducing her, but by the time you end this conversation, you will all see what I'm talking about. Over to you, Chancellor.
Well, Professor Alicia Kipps-Rudder, you are a woman of God. You work in the church, but you also work in the world, and you're studying psychology. And my question, just to start us off, is you work in the world, and you see the need. What is the need that is still, that hole that's still missing, that you want to help people? You're in the business of helping people. What is that? What is the need that is still there?
And also, what is your philosophy?
Psychoneuroimmunology, and my mission is to help as many people as possible change their lives so they can live, love, and lead like Jesus. God education system, search academics, God ideas are valid, and that's what we are about. I believe that God wants to do more than grow us as individuals. He wants to form us. He wants to shape us, not just give us more spiritual knowledge, but make more spiritual people. And I believe that one of the ways to do this is through the platform of search academics. It is an education system that does not belong to the world. It belongs to the church. It is God's system. They're supposed to be following us. So I really believe in it. And this is the platform that I am using. And I'm already doing the practical minutes.
Oh my goodness. So tell me about, how does your philosophy connect with the world? How does your philosophy connect?
So as a counselor, I counsel people, psychology. I am a Christian psychologist. And, people, they come to church, but the church is really a messed up place, right? Where people come because they are seeking help. So when they reach out to that help, and I think it's Professor Michael, that book, that you wrote, is about educating. If we can get it in their psyche, if we can get it in their mind, it's going to change their thinking. It's in the Bible where Jesus spoke about the mind being renewed, where Paul talked about the mind being. So if we can get it in their mind and get them to change and move forward, then we do something. So the platform that I use is such academic is education. Yes, you counsel people, you can't tell them what to do, but I will say, hey, something, you don't want to come back here 4 and 5 times. We want to get you to change, and doing that is through education, God education system, because God ideas are valid.
Wow. So if you don't mind, how do you bring the word of God into psychology? That's how do you make that work? That's a That's an art.
Yes.
And that's why your philosophy is so important. Now, how do you make that work?
As a preacher, I'm a preacher also. I use the platform because I really believe that the enemy, the Bible spoke about the sower and the seed, right? And it says that when the word is nothing is wrong with the seed, nothing is wrong with the word. But when the seed is sown, the enemy comes right away, right? So what I do, I introduce education into it, right? And I let them, like, okay, let me use an example. I did a session with the young people, and I'm going to do a session in a little while again. So we are introducing, I think Sam spoke about the young people. The old men dream dreams, the young men see visions. So I did a session with the young people, and what we did is that we did the counseling, and you're finding that these young people, Dr. Rivers, you said it. You said that COVID changed the world. It did. And now we have people who are coming out post-COVID and they are messed up. So we are, even right now, we are dealing with the young people's psyche, their mind. So we are introducing the word of God, but also the education system where such academics come in. So with the word, you put in the psychology, because listen, God is the first psychologist, right? He said, my word shall not be void. What it will accomplish in the thing that I sent it to, it will prosper. So if we speak the word and we speak such academics and we educate them, then we have a group of people that is going to lead the world.
Right.
And as they lead, then we are going to change the world.
Yes. Wow.
My goodness. Chancellor, over to you.
God is the father of psychology. I always said that. He created us. He gave us his mind. He's the father of psychology. So we have to bring people back to that. And that is what your pneumopsychology is doing. You're bringing people back to the mind of God, back to the mind of Christ, which is the mind that is in us. And we have to understand that mind. Oh, that is beautiful.
And you know what? And one thing I like is we don't have to say everything religiously.
That's right.
We can talk to people in common language and bring God in. And she's some Dr. Rudder, do you think sometimes where we've lost it in the institution of religion is through our vocabulary?
Yes. Yes, through our language. As a matter of fact, Pastor Glenn and Roderick has been dealing with our language and how we speak. And, you know, I myself have been dealing with that, how we speak. And Dr. Rivers, I think was probably a month or something ago, you was doing a live, right? And I picked up something from your live, right? And this is, we have lost it with our language. We have come too religious. So people don't trust us, right? And this is what I got. The Bible says that faith has an author. It comes from somebody. It has a finisher. It goes back to somebody. It says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of my faith. Now, we could use optimism, right? Optimism will say it will work out. The universe will work it out. Somehow it will work out. But faith says God. And that's how we change our language. We don't have to get all religious and all. No, we could use it as optimism and say, but listen, God says. And I think you were bringing that out in one of those lives that you did. So our language needs to change. And when we change our language, we are going to reach people. I mean, Dr. Rivers, I did a session with the young people from 13 years all the way to 17. And they were excited. I did the tree, the house, and the person drawing where they put in all the features and everything. And I introduced an education saying it is important. And there was so much questions after because our language has been changed. So we are enemies. Sometimes we use words and they are not good, but our language is important. We use kingdom language, but we also mix it and show them the importance of education, the importance of such academics, because God ideas are valid.
What do I say?
There's no words.
There's no words. You just said it.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what did I tell you? I told you it just took 5-10 minutes of hearing Dr. Rudder, and you know she's the right person to create this philosophy. And I want to say something. Own your number one.
Yeah.
Own it. Sometimes people, when you're working with institutions that don't know what you're doing or don't understand it, put on confidence.
Yes.
Put it on. Sometimes when you're talking to people that have a position over you or the expert at something, I have to put on confidence because I don't have it in my natural self.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll say, God, help me explain this with boldness and confidence to these people that are the experts in one field and my expertise. So I'll start out. I'll start out by saying, I respect your expertise. Now here's mine.
Yes.
And I
Yes,
level
yes,
the
very much
actual
so.
playing field. And as you're bringing anything new, the old institution will not give you a kiss
Right.
because you're going to topple the system.
Yes.
So
Right.
put on confidence and
Yes.
own your narrative because it came from a number one God to a number one you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. And that is why we are here today, is because we walked it and we stuck
That's right.
with it.
That's
and,
right.
and Professor Alicia Kipps-Rudder is evidence and results of that walk. So we appreciate you and we thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rudder.
Thank you.
And my boy Glendon back there, tell him I love him.
Yes.
He's one of the best.
Oh my goodness. Well, Your Royal Highness, I'm
Unbelievable.
blessed today. I'm excited. We are not finished. We're finished with our interviews, but we have another appointment that we want to announce today. And then in a few minutes, we will have our first Searcher Doctorate ceremony, where we will be we'll be giving away our first Searcher Doctorates to 3 of our professors. So up next, we have Professor Jared Akama Anyari.
Let me talk about this one.
Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, that guy with that bow tie on, do not be deceived. He is one of the great minds of this world. I've been with him with presidents. I've been with him with top world leaders. This man understands legacy in Africa better than anyone in the world. That's why his philosophy is new. And I'm going to say this. This man's philosophy will preserve history in Africa. It will preserve it in the right perspective because his Afro Legacy Institute is an institute that will preserve legacy. As I was in Africa on this trip, I found out a lot. And a lot is lost because legacy is not recorded. History is spoken and passed on from generation to generation through spoken word, but it's not put into literal form. Professor Jared Akama is actually one of my mentors in Africa. This man always puts me on the right path, and I'm not ashamed to call him my mentor in the things I'm doing in Africa. Chancellor Michael, over to you for this appointment.
Right. Well, today, Professor Jared Akama Anyari, we are honored to let the world know that you've been appointed as the United Graduate College and Seminary International Vice Chancellor of Legacy Studies. Congratulations on your appointment. And I know that the work that we do with you will change the world. You are creating your own legacy and legacies. You're making space for everyone else to create their legacy as well. Let me read some of the statistics or some about.
And then we'll let him share.
And we'll let him speak. Yes.
Yes.
So Professor Jared Anyari is the 2020 Kenya World Civility Icon. He has his PhD in human rights through Impact Africa Technical University, USA. He's got his professorship with United Graduate College and Seminary International. He's got an MBA in project management, a master's in development studies, and a bachelor's in theology, as well as a bachelor's in economics. And he is more than worthy of this position. Over to you, Professor Jared.
Jared, share with us.
Sometimes things happen in life and you miss what to say. But I'm seeking divine intervention to start by saying, with a lot of humility, I accept to the position and I see it divine. And what I have heard from His Royal Highness Sir Dr. Clyde Rivers, King Amisa, he has said that I'm his mentor. And I always say that he's my mentor. And if you want to get more knowledge, God's education system, you go to nature and see how the monkeys behave. What monkeys do, you scratch my back and he scratch the other's back. That is exactly what I have seen, what His Royal Highness is saying this evening. Or my evening and your morning. And this is what legacy is all about, that we are there to uplift each other. You cannot be an expert in all fields. And that's how God meant us to be, that we support each other and we lift each other. And you are saying that my philosophy is legacy. And whoever is listening to me, especially our professors, I will want to know that they say that I am a daughter of so and so, I am a son and so and so. I want them to give their ancestors up to the 5th generation. When we meet next time, I will be asking you. And this is what I'm trying to tell people: write down your legacies. Know where you are coming from. Know your DNA. And I want to make this point that you can have all great ideas. You can have all the education. If you cannot pass them from one generation to another, then nobody can hear you. Nobody can know you. So that's why we are spending more time asking people to write their legacies. And what annoyed me to pick this topic, let me just tell you, they keep on saying that if you want to hide something from an Africa, write it down. Because African people are being told that they can be told stories, they cannot write their stories down. And that's from the legacy point of view, we are encouraging people to write their stories so that generation after generation can know what we stood for. Remember what King Amisa said about coronavirus. It is a game changer. Remember, he has been having he started this culture of honor for 10 years. People cannot understand, but he did not give up. And he has got a rich legacy to say that sometimes you can be ahead of people for 10 years and never give up. And from the representative from other professors I've heard is that we need to pass a positive and affirming legacy to improve family ties throughout generations. On a similar note, passing a bad legacy can ultimately be destructive. So we are encouraging people that leave behind a good legacy. And as a vice chancellor of legacy studies of United Graduate and College Seminary International, I am going to assist people, and the people are going to assist us to assist people through Afro legacy. And in a week's time, in a month's time, you are going to see how we have gone far to honor a president of an African country who was a president, but still a minister for agriculture to ensure that there is food security. He's all gone, but we appreciate his work. So this is what I will continue to do. This is what God has called me to do. This is God's education. Yeah. And as I give my last point, I'm saying this. Legacy is not bound by age or served by an older generation or younger generation. Everyone, be it a kid of 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, whichever age, you have got a legacy. You have got something to say that this is what I'm leaving behind. My very final word, it surprises me on how many leaders, on how many people don't spend enough time thinking about their legacy, what they will leave behind for the organization or the world. Remember, legacy is biblical. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 8, 9, 10, it tells us there is nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, there's nothing new we are going to make, but the Bible is telling us that we spend our time talking about legacy. Remember, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We can use legacy to connect to the future generation. When the future generation will look back, they will find that we have left them a legacy. I submit.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I told you this man is my mentor. Professor, thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations on your appointment.
Vice Chancellorship.
Let's change the world.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Wow. Well, what a blessing. Next is our graduation ceremony. So I'm going to let His Royal Highness take over and talk about a little bit about this Doctorate of Searcherdemics.
Perfect.
And I'm going to...
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let me tell you what's exciting about this is we literally have created a new paradigm over the last decade. We realized that many of the institutions around the world were not allowing God's ideas to be a part of shaping the world. So we started a concept and a philosophy that was saying God's ideas are valid. And as you really look at the world, everything created was created by a God idea. Where you're setting, where you're living, your home, your city, your community, every building was a thought and an idea in someone's mind one day. So as I thought about that equation, as we established this institution, we said, wow, God has to become valid because the institutions of the world are not allowing God in, and they're failing because God's not allowed in. So it's amazing. Who would have thought 10 years later there'd be an actual virus that closed the world down? And now let me tell you something. When the world is closed down for 2 years, you have to open back up. And when you open back up, you always start with innovation. Innovative people right now are creating brand new paradigms for every institution in the world. Has to do business different, has to reach the customer in a different way. And this is where Searcherdemics, we actually started this concept years ago. But I knew one thing as we started this. When you bring anything new to the equation, you have to have evidence and results, because people can deny your words, but they can't deny the evidence and results. And what I can say, as we started Searcherdemics, as we came up with the philosophy, it was fought. People say, what is this? It's not valid. Well, of course, the world's institution is never going to validate a God idea. So one of the things that you have to do as a professor, you have to find ways to speak and communicate things the way that other people may not see it. Let me give you a quick example. When I talk about Searcherdemics, I said, look, I said, isn't it amazing what Mark Zuckerberg has created, what Bill Gates, Elon Musk, it's amazing what they've created. Now, people that are used to actually build their institution are doctors, scientists, researchers, major thinkers in the world have helped walk their ideas into existence. So why isn't the one that created the idea a doctor, and the one that has researched them is a doctor? So, and no one can refute that. So what I'm saying here is, this day we have professors, we have three graduates that are graduating today because they have been with us for a decade. They've been through the fire with us. They've been through the flood with us, and now they can be on the mountaintop. And this day, you have no idea the history of this day. The first 3 searcherdemic professors in the whole world with earned degrees in this. You will be the first in the history of the world, of the entire world. So just think 200 years down the road when you talk about who created this God model, because this model will be relevant every day in every generation. You are the first of its kind in the entire globe. Dr. Chris, if Dr. Michael's ready, you can bring her back on now. Thank you. Chancellor Michael, over to you.
All right. So I'd like to invite Professor Shakuntala Rose Reddy, please, to the stage. Hello, Professor Rose. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Quite excited.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and confer the degree, and then I'll let you share. United Graduate College and Seminary International hereby confers upon Shakuntala Reddy the degree of Doctor of Searcherdemics, a recognized non-governmental ministry degree, together with all rights, privileges, and honors appertaining hereto, consideration of excellence in governance of the College of Christian Education Department, a fully accredited member of the Worldwide Accreditation Commission of Christian Educational Institutions, USA. The testimony in hereof and the signature as authorized by the Board of Directors are hereunto affixed this 2nd day of April in the year of 2022. Congratulations, Professor Rose.
Thank you so much.
For our first in the history of the world earned Doctorate of Searcherdemics.
Yes.
Historical.
I don't know what to say. Greetings, Your Royal Highness, Sir Clyde Rivers, Professor Michael, and the team. I'm truly honored and humbled this evening here in South Africa, and it's during the day for you guys, to be at this platform and to be presented with this prestigious degree. Yes, it had come in with lots of hard work, and it was least expected. It wasn't something that we had worked towards where we had this expectation that we will be getting a degree at some stage. But I suppose if you do what you love and you love what you do, God is always in it, and He will reward the hard work that's put in. And I must say, kindness, the building blocks of civility, has come a long way now. And can I speak a little about it?
Yes.
Please.
I must say, kindness basically is an acronym, and also it's our mission statement. We have kingdom integrated notions for developing the nation into endeavoring successful stewards. And the vision is we are dedicated to bringing humanity back to its God-given purpose of having to live fulfilled lives that is acceptable. And it will be a life of civility when we leave a trail of kindness wherever we go. And I must say, this ideology was birthed in 2020 during the pandemic, when people didn't expect too much, while doing research, but God's work basically. I came across November 13 being World Kindness Day. And for me, it's very significant because it is my birthday. And I stopped immediately and I said, Lord, what are you saying to me? What do you want me to do? And the answer came in as create a World Kindness event. And within a month, a program was formulated. It was just by the grace of God and His wisdom, where we had a 30-day kindness challenge. We collected pre-owned books, toys, and clothing. We had sponsorships from only 2 companies and a few individuals, but when God is in the business, He makes things work. We had kids recite poetry, they did speeches, we had songs and dances, we had competitions. Kids were presented with prizes that were sponsored to us. And I must say the highlight of the event was when we had a helicopter come in, and it was our kindness mascot. And that helicopter flew me to the event, which for little kids was really, really exciting. And all of the toys, books, and clothing that we had received was donated to two organizations, basically organizations for the welfare of people and animals. And that for me was my induction in becoming a kindness ambassador. And I was christened Captain Kindness. So if you get to see pictures, you'll find me with my kindness robe and the um, sash that says Captain Kindness. And in the back it says, be kind, because basically that's the motto, go forth and be kind. And it didn't stop there. In December 2020, the arm of kindness was extended, and we had gone to an underprivileged school, and we had handed out toys to 160 grade one learners. And this was at the time when we had 60 days of activism, 16 days of activism against violence against children, or no violence against children. And it carried on. When one starts with something, there's always a ripple effect. In May 2020, we managed to open a non-profit organization called the Rose Kindness Foundation. And this service provider basically requires a premises, which will assist the economically challenged. We aim to rehabilitate alcoholics, drug addicts, social misfits, and reintroduce them back into society as independent individuals. It will be a safe house for unwed mums, teenage pregnancies, especially those that have been ostracized by their families. It will be a shelter for the abused children while foster care protocols are being put into place. And finally, basically to provide the needs of the homeless, all the basic needs. It is a great vision and a great project, but I believe with God on our side and our total dependence on crowdfunding, this is going to take off before we know it. Like the
Very good.
lady earlier said, we're not going to wait for 10 years, it's going to be much, much sooner.
Very
And
good.
November last year, we had a huge kindness tree, the Richards Bay Primary Kindness Tree, which was a banner that's now emblazoned on the walls at our school. And our kids are encouraged every day to perform acts of kindness. And we acknowledge them by having their names pinned on, and that will be something that will go on forever. I've authored a book with the same title, and it will shortly be an ebook that will be available. And I'm presently creating a kindness program or curriculum, which I believe will be integrated into the life skills program at schools. And the aim of that is basically to introduce the kindness concept from as early as preschool age, so that as they grow older, we will develop a new caliber of people that would learn to treat people with respect and dignity. And this hour, I just want to say, yes, the Search Academics program, which is God's global inclusive education system, is something that the world is going to be seeing, has been seeing already, and will continue. But I want to leave today by reading a little poem by somebody called Sam Levinson. Something to strive for and live by daily. For attractive lips, speak words of kindness. For lovely eyes, seek out the good in people. For a slim figure, share your food with the hungry. For beautiful hair, let a child run his fingers through it once. For poise, walk with the knowledge that you'll never walk alone. We leave you a tradition with the future. The tender, loving care of human beings will never become obsolete. People, even more than things, have to be restored, renewed, re- revived, reclaimed, redeemed and redeemed and redeemed. Never throw anybody away. Remember, if you ever need a helping hand, you will find one at the end of your arm. And as you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself and the other for helping others. So let's go forth and do what we love best, serving God and sprinkling kindness wherever we go.
Very good.
Once again, I want to say I extend my gratitude to the UGCS faculty for conferring me with this doctorate, the first time ever in searchademics. This is truly, truly a prestigious accolade to be celebrated today. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Yes.
Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations. As you can see,
Thank
she's
you.
well deserved of this. And thank you. Wow. Okay, we'd like Professor Carol Green to please come to the stage. Hello, Professor Carol.
Hello, good day. At whatever time of day it is, where you are, I'm so grateful to be a part of this. Thank you, Your Royal Highness, Sir Clyde Rivers, and Chancellor Michael Pitzel, for giving voice to Holy Spirit experience, what he has taught us through life's experience, and for allowing us the opportunity to change and to enrich the world by passing on the knowledge of God and his viewpoint that changes lives in a practical and profound way.
Wow.
It is such an honor to be a part of history, to know that what we are doing is practical and it does change the world, because it's God's viewpoint, it's his wisdom that we are sharing.
Wow. Thank you.
Man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your lives and the work that you have done is the most tangible education I have ever seen. And if it is not worthy of a doctorate, I don't know what is. And you have helped professionals who have degrees in the world's education system who otherwise would have not had help. And we see you and we see your evidence and results, and it is an honor today to bestow upon you this degree.
And
So.
and the one thing I want to say, Carol, about you personally is what you've done and who you are modeling for young girls that look like you. You're giving them a vision for the future. Absolutely. And that we applaud you for. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, United Graduate College and Seminary International hereby confers upon Carol Louise Green the degree of Doctor of Searchademics, a recognized non-governmental ministry degree, together with all rights, privileges, and honors appertaining hereto, and in consideration of excellence in governance of the College of Christian Education Department, a fully accredited member of the Worldwide Accreditation Commission of Christian Educational Institutions, USA. The testimony in hereof and the signatures as authorized by the Board of Directors are hereunto affixed this 2nd day of April in the year of 2022. Congratulations.
Dr. Carol Green, Searcher Demission, earned degree. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. If there are any more words you have for us, if not, if you started off with your words, that's fine.
I did.
Perfect.
I love it.
I love
it.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you. So Professor Christopher Green, welcome, sir. I will confer, and then I will let you end with your eloquent words, which I know you have.
And then after you finish, I will speak about him.
Perfect. Okay. United Graduate College and Seminary International hereby confers upon Christopher Gerard Green the degree of Doctor of Searchademics, a recognized non-governmental ministry degree, together with all rights, privileges, and honors appertaining hereto, and in consideration of excellence in governance of the College of Christian Education Department, a fully accredited member of the Worldwide Accreditation Commission of Christian Educational Institutions, USA. The testimony in hereof and the signature as authorized by the Board of Directors are hereunto affixed this 2nd day of April in the year of 2022. Congratulations, sir.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about Chris Green. Dr. Chris Green is one of the first persons that I met. He and his wife picked me up I was going to do an event in Harrisburg, and they came, and I was forgotten, and Dr. Chris and Carol came and got me. Chris, then a couple years later, I did an event in the same place, and he came and said, "We just want to serve. We just want to serve. How can we serve the work you're doing?" I gave him some ideas, and he took those ideas and he enhanced those ideas, and he is the poster child for searcherdemic work around the world. This man was one of the first ones ever to bring evidence and results that took an idea, walked the idea into existence, volunteered at homeless shelters to empower people, created institutions that created paradigms, helped those in prison with his philosophy. This man is now becoming a doctor of a philosophy that he created, walked through the hell, walked through the fire, walked through the criticisms, and now the government institutions in his state use him to help solve problems.
Yes.
So Dr. Chris and Carol Green are the poster children for searcherdemics. Over to you, Dr. Chris.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm telling you, really, really emotional right now, and all of the professors know that my wife and I, we are those type of people because our philosophy is care, and it's not just a persona that you put on when you're about to stand up and give a presentation. It's who God made us to be. And so we want to thank you, His Royal Highness, Sir Dr. Clyde Rivers, and to Chancellor Pitzel for encouraging us, for empowering us, for equipping us to really do this, to move forward in what we didn't know then was a searcher journey. We are eternally grateful and honored to receive such a prestigious credential. All glory and praise goes to God alone. We love the fact that United Graduate College and Seminary International has taken on the revolutionary approach of engaging people and releasing people who can produce real answers in a real world in real time. And that UGCSI views this view, that they take the point of view that this is an actual measurable standard of success that can be acknowledged and can be rewarded with comparable credentials. If we were to go through the traditional world matriculation to a doctorate, eventually you would walk across a stage and they would give you that doctorate degree, and it would be because you would be saying this person has the wisdom and the expertise to successfully implement their vision, to teach it, to duplicate it, and to defend it. Well, searcherdemics, if we want to let everyone know, this is not an inferior degree. This is not an inferior degree because UGCSI prepared us, and we can say that we are doctors of searcherdemics because we can implement God's vision, and we've done it. We have taught it to others. We have been able to duplicate it, and we can now successfully defend. We have the numbers, the data, but it would not have happened if God hadn't caused our paths to cross with a man who had a God vision of his own, and he was moving forward in it, and God caused our paths to cross with him. And what was in our heart was something simply called CARE. We didn't know the name it at that time. And CARE is an acronym. We started off providing what we call Care, Ready, responders. And what we meant by care ready was to have an individual who can go into the most difficult environments, like a homeless shelter, like helping people coming out of prison, like people in social services and human services, but and even food outreaches and different things that people are doing all the time. But we discovered that it was something that people were doing, but they didn't necessarily know how to connect with people. Do you know there are a lot of people that are doing a lot of good things, but they still aren't really making a connection with people? So you end up with what we were introduced to this word called recidivism, meaning our numbers never go down. We keep seeing the same homeless over and over again. We keep seeing the same people going back into their addiction. We keep seeing the same people going back to prison, because even though we took them through our cookie cutter steps and treatments, they never could break the pattern. And God gave us something that even people who have been doing it for 15 and 20 years told us, you gave me something that I never learned in university. I was never taught how to connect with people. I knew how to assess them and I knew how to treat them, but I didn't know how to connect with them. Our most recent graduate is a 20-year doctorate level counselor. And she said when she implemented the tools that we taught her, that first of all, she came to us as a client. One of our coaches, one of our life coaches that we trained, helped her. Her life was so changed that she decided, I need to get that training for myself. So she came with 20 years experience as a counselor, as a therapist. And when she became certified in care, she implemented it in her practice and she said, I'm getting the best results that I have ever had with my clients.
Jesus.
God's ideas are valid. Yes. God's way is valid. Yes. And so through the years that and walking with UGCSI, as His Royal Highness mentioned, we started volunteering in an unemployment center, volunteered in women's shelter, and then came the contracts because we had results. And then people in the community were saying, okay, now we're willing to financially support that because it's working. And upon our next graduation, we're currently have started another certification class. And when we graduate this next group of students, we will have reached 100 coaches, 25 care-ready responders across 10 states.
My goodness.
This is a God idea. And so we thank you so much. We're so appreciative. We are so humbled by this. Professor Rose said it, when you do this, when you love what you do and you do what you love, you're not thinking one day someone is going to recognize this as something that's a measurable standard of success. I'll use that word again. A measurable standard of success that can be implemented, taught, duplicated, and defended. And we thank you so much. It is our honor.
Wow.
And if I can, Dr. Chris, thank you for just all the evidence and results. You are so worthy of this degree. And I must thank our Chancellor.
Yes.
Dr. Chancellor Michael, you have been in different countries, good conditions, great hotels, bad hotels, in like airports overnight, working with people that no one wants to help. You have taken time to establish this model. As you first came in, you're one of the worst leaders I had ever worked with. No. I'm
It's true.
15 years later, you're one of the best leaders I know in the world.
Mm.
You have walked through change. You've created an institution. You're building leaders. And like I said, you're one of the best leaders I know on the face of the earth today. And we wouldn't want to be led by anyone other than you. So thank you for what you've built, for allowing people to actually thrive and not be competitive. And you're causing everyone to rise. And as I said, you are truly a great leader, and we thank you. As at times, but we don't thank you enough for what you do, but we're thanking you now. So thank you very much, Dr. Michael.
Thank you. And you are the highest. You are supposed to have the last word. I would love to honor you as well, because I can't do what I do without the support that you give, Your Royal Highness. And God told me when he gave me this idea that I cannot do it alone, and I will not do it alone. This did not happen by myself. I needed you, and I need everyone who is on the broadcast today, and even those searcher professors who are out there. And I want to say to everyone who is watching, you are valuable. Your ideas are needed. God uses people to move his ideas, and that is you. And Your Royal Highness, you have to have the last word, but I want to honor you and thank you, because you have built a stage for this to be able to rise. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And everyone, our work has just begun. Let's dig in now and let's create what the world thinks about. Thank you all, and God bless you. Bye-bye.